Welcome back to the Crazy Invention Shed. I still have not come up with a name for my shed, what I do here, but this is where I weld and invent stuff. Anyways, today I will be showing you how to set up an oxy-acetylene set. First, safety glasses. These have actually saved my eyes a couple times in college. That was a fun story. Alright, well first and foremost, you probably need cylinders, but first you need an oxygen and acetylene regulator. So you got some T-handles, got the torch, and I got the hose. And also you should have flashback arresters. These will stop if anything goes haywire. And normally I would say get 2 of these, or 2 sets. One for when they're on the cylinder itself, and then one on the torch. You can't be ever too safe with this. And I also guy that got in college. But also, what you're going to need for this is soapy water. Some people like to do like the pressure drop and stuff, but I say soapy water, you know, instantly, and it's just a lot quicker. Alrighty, and I will get to it. Sure, center of attention. Okay, step 1. Make sure that these cylinders are chained to a proper structure. Step 2, remove the caps. And store them in a safe place until when the cylinder is empty. These are brand new cylinders. I hear a cat. Now I will be getting a firewall here, but I just got this whole setup and I need to do some projects, but I am gonna be right on that probably in the next episode, or next time you see me, I will have a firewall right there. Alright, now for setting this whole up, I don't know if you guys know, but in college I was taught, like, this has a lot of pressure, so when it's coming up at crazy volume. Need my gloves on too. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna crack the bottle real quick, just open it and close it, just to blow anything that subtle debris or anything that came and is in there, just blows it right out. I'll give you a quick demonstration, because this is my first time also setting these up. It'll also be kind of ideal to point towards an open door so it blows all out instead of all in. Open, close. Also, whenever you're turning this stuff on, you step away from it and turn it to turn it on, so if anything goes, you're not in direct contact. But if it does explode, I mean, I don't know what to say about that, but open, closed. Like that, just one quick turn on and off. And the oxygen now is ready to have the regulator hooked up to it. Possibly when you put this stuff together, you don't want to have your gloves on it or have anything really dirty. I'm holding around the outside of it, but you don't want to have really anything dirty touching it, because when the pressure comes up from the body, like the instantaneous pressure might, like little specks of dirt might cause a fire, which might cause an explosion. The more you know. And then we're gonna screw this on. Make sure you have the oxygen on the oxygen. It's kind of hard to mix them up. As far as I know, they're all, one's forward thread, one's reverse thread, and the other one's the other thread, so it's kind of hard to screw those up. But just make sure. And this is also all brass or copper. I think it's brass. I have to get my knowledge right on that. So just don't torque down on this stuff too hard. But normally what I like to do is I like to point this stuff kind of up, so if it goes up and away from me, and also stand to the side so you know it doesn't kill you. This is probably, this, if it blows, it's gonna come out like a missile at you. Now that's hooked up, we'll get the acetylene hooked up. And never stand away from it and just crank it and turn it, blow everything out. Open, close. That's all I needed, just that, and just blows everything that's possibly in there right out. Getting this acetylene one out. And we're gonna hook this one up. Yeah, this is reverse threads compared to that one. I always get these so confused. Snug this down. Put it over there. Over there. Alrighty, that's step 3, I believe. 1, 2, yep, 3. That's step 3. Alrighty. The next thing you're gonna need is these flash guards. I thought they're called flashback arresters. Oh, but they are. That name's just below it. Okay. What these do is they stop if the hoses ever catch on fire or if there's a fire traveling back up through the hoses. This is what kills it before getting to the tanks and actually creating a bomb, potentially killing you. I know, it's so exciting. Working against 2 bombs. These are brand new, but you should check them. I believe it depends on how often you use it, like every year or like every couple months, depending on how often you use it. I will probably check them like every year because I won't be using these very much, but I will be using them. For this, I will be getting another set. This is the only set they had in the store, which I'm glad I got this and waiting for more to get it delivered. But it's better to have one on the torch itself and then one on the actual tanks. Just more safety. Because we are messing with legit bombs over here. In a way. This is... right there. Just attach it to like that. And attach that one to right there. Snug it up real tight. Snug that one up. All right, moving on to the actual lines. I think I have a knife around here somewhere. Be right back. Turns out these things aren't that strong, I just tore them. Alrighty. This should be about 12 feet. Might get a longer one. And of course, oh wait. I can adjust this, which is nice. Probably tighten it back up after this. There we go. Oxygen. Already got the hose, got them hooked up, got this end. I'm gonna leave it over here for right now. And we're gonna snug up the hose. This is step 5, I believe. I don't know. I already lost count. It's gonna be like that one guy. Who's always gonna be a little curious of what's going on. Really nothing. I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. Just flabbergasting over here. Snug them up. Alrighty, moving on to the actual torch. I've got a O Series 3 101. Oh, 3 101. Have to refresh on all what these numbers do and stuff. It's been a while. Step 6, assemble the torch. See, we got oxygen, fuel. Now, how you want to set this torch up, you want to do, whenever you're cutting, you'll be cutting like this. You want to, if there's a problem, you want to come straight back to the fuel so you can just turn it off. Which, right there, just straight off. Your oxygen, for the most part, will stay always open. This is the mixture control. This is how you control it. And this is, you will leave mainly your fuel off, because that is the source. Oxygen can't burn without source. All it does is fuel the fire for cutting. This is where the mixture, but whenever you're cutting, there's ever a problem, you want to come right back here and be able to shut that off right away. So this, when you turn it on, acetylene will start coming out immediately, and then you'll light your flame with your flint or whatever. You'll light it and get it going, and then you'll add oxygen to turn it to a crisp flame so you can actually do the cutting. But if anything ever happens, you can come right back to fuel and shut off immediately. Oxygen always stays open once you get it hooked up, and then this is where your mixture comes in. After it's going, you just mix it, the acetylene and oxygen. I'll show you as we get further. torch is assembled, you assemble it to the two things, and it's really hard to get them cross-threaded. Fuel should go on fuel and oxygen go on oxygen. But I've heard that some people have forced it onto the wrong thing. And if you know anything about these, I'm pretty sure you can guess what happened when they tried to get it going. First off, it would leak like absolutely crazy. Setting up my torch. It is that way. Man, I always get these mixed up. Alrighty, everything is nice and snug. All the lines are good. That should be hooked up. And now is to pressurize everything and make sure nothing leaks. You ready for this? Alrighty, this is where the spray soap comes in. There you go. Some people don't like using this because it gets in a mess, but I say, you just spray it in the area you want and it does exactly what you need instantly. You don't have to fill it up and let it drop. So there's two ways to test out. First, we're gonna do is we're gonna let pressure into the regulators itself. So all the T-handles are gonna be turned out. All the way out, so it's not pressed against the springs in there at all. Because we only want to test out, we're going to test out each one as we go, so we don't test out everything and then have to kind of figure out what to do. We just test out one area at once. I like setting it up all together because it's a lot more easier to control. Alrighty, let me get my gloves on. So the tip I'm running was an O, so I think it's an O3. Yep, it's an O3. I think O is for the tip size. I have to kind of figure it, but I'm going to be running about 30 to 35 kPa. What? Okay. I'll be using, with the O tip, I'll be using 200 to 240 kPa, and I should be running at the same with the acetylene, about 20 to 34. Alrighty, this will be fun. Alrighty, we're gonna make sure our torch, everything is right now is just closed. T-handles are turned out as far as they can without like falling onto the ground. Alrighty. First thing, We are going to stand to the side and crank the oxygen open slowly. Once the PSI has risen to the full tank's volume, and then you open it all the way. I have to, yep, okay. Just slowly crank it. Remember, this tank, brand new, has over 12,000 PSI. Or is it over 2,000 PSI? That's KPA. Yeah, over 12,000 KPA. All right. And now since we're setting this up for the very first time, this joint right here, the only thing that's pressurized is this chamber. So the first thing we're going to do with this soap water, we're going to spray this joint. And you're going to watch for it to see if it bubbles, because this is soapy water, it will bubble very easily and immediately. Looks like there's just a small bit of bubbles. I'm going to tighten this. Alrighty, the oxygen, if you have bubbles, just tighten it down a little more. If you tighten it down to where you might think you might strip it, turn off the bottle. You might need either like a new head on top of the bottle or a new regulator. Next thing, acetylene. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna stand to the side and we're gonna crank it open slowly. Once it has risen to the full amount, do a half turn to about 5/8. That's all you want to do. So that is in case, because it's a double-seated valve, there won't be any leak off the top. Oxygen, the reason you open all the way, because it's only single-seated valve, so you have to open all the way so nothing comes out the handle. Where this is double-seated, and it closes the top the second you open it. So closes one and opens the other. Well, it's always normally closed, but just make sure. The reason you only open it about the time you're done, you should be about 3/4 of a turn to a turn and a half. If anything happens, you can go right away. You could turn it right off immediately. Which in my case, it should be mental thing. Give me, yeah, to the right. So just go over there and turn it off right away. Now since that's all good, we are going to spray the acetylene. We got no leaks so far. That's good. That's why you don't also want to snug down on these, because these are brass, and if you snug down on them, you could destroy the threads. Alrighty. Next thing, we are gonna pressurize the lines and the torch. Man, I never knew I could talk so bad. Normally I'm like stuttering every 3 words. So what you're gonna do is make sure your torch, everything's off on your torch. And you're going to turn your T-handles a little slowly and bring pressure up to the amount or flow. I don't know what the pressure amount or flow that you're going to want. I believe acetylene should not go above like 7 or 8. Alrighty, and that's all set up. You're gonna test these lines going all the way through all the connections. You're gonna spray with soap, soapy water. I advise to do just a couple joints at a time. So you don't get too far ahead of yourself. That's why I like using soap water, because it shows immediately. All good. Now, we are gonna bleed. Since this is all set up, if you're all good to here and there's no leaks and you're good and the torch and the pressure is all TNT, is like a stick of TNT is in your hand and ready to go, we're gonna bleed this so when we start it, there's no pops or flashbacks. So it's just pure oxygen and acetylene in lines. This is where you could open the oxygen all the way. Also, if your torch is new, you might want to spray soapy water right here on the joints just to make sure. Doesn't hurt anything, it's just water and soap, as long as it doesn't get in there. And I doubt it will, because if there's pressure, it's just gonna spit it right out. Looks all good. You hear that? That's our oxygen. Now we're going to do our acetylene. And we're good. We are ready to rumble. We all set up. Careful whenever you set down your torch and stuff. You don't blow your face off. Make sure you have a good striker. Mine's having a little difficulty here and there. Alrighty. Woo! Sasquatch mode! Holy crap, it's dark outside. These are Shade 5 glasses. You can either get a Shade 5 sun visor or Shade 5 glasses. I'll also use like a face shield. Alrighty, let's do this. Now, after you get that started, you see what I did? I turned that acetylene on copper plate, and then you're going to go up to your handle and turn your oxygen on. See how it blew out me? I was able to turn it off pretty quick. We're going to do that again. Woo! So this is what you call a feather. So what you're going to do is you're going to, after you turn your acetylene on, you're going to turn your oxygen on. And if you go too much, just turn it down a little bit until you get the feather. And then turn it up until you just get rid of that feather. Dang it, I'm going the wrong way every time. Alrighty. There you go, where you get your brazen tips and then heat up your metal. Alright, I should mention that when you turn down to make sure there's no feather, you hold down the handle. There you go. Now you're ready to cut. Ha-ha! And once you go turn it off, I want to put your striker down. Go for your acetylene first and then your oxygen. You want to kill your fuel immediately. Well, first you want to do is kill your fuel because that's what's flaming the fire. because otherwise you go to, I don't know if you could see. I couldn't see really because I have these dark glasses. When you first start, all this, I think it's carbon, comes from the flame, and that's why you go to your oxygen pretty quick. So if you cut your oxygen first, you're gonna have a bunch of carbon, black fume stuff flowing all over the place. You don't want that. So you want to take that and just shut it off. And there you go, the full setup. And now, how you turn this all off, you want to do your fuel first, and you want to cut it to complete off. Now you should remember you're just a couple turns and you're just in. You just want to be quick with it. The oxygen, you do next. Turn it all the way off. I believe I have a small leak in the head. I think I loosened it and not tightened it. I don't see any bubbles. I'll fix that and I'll start it back up. And then how you drain your lines is you just, you can hold the cutting torch down for the oxygen. So it's all gone, and then you open the acetylene. And then while everything is still open, you want to turn the T-handles out, because there might be a little stuff stuck in the regulators themselves. So you just turn them out, and you should drop back down to 0. And then you can shut them off. Set the fuel and oxygen. Your oxygen right here should always stay on, but that could be different instructors or people. Your oxygen should always stay on or off, depending on how you do it. And then you just wrap up your cord on a design hanger. And that's how you set up an oxy-acetylene tank in a shed. Now, for the next episode, you'll see, I probably won't use this, but I'll have a firewall going right here between them to make sure, like, if this catches fire, it doesn't hop over to the oxygen. The acetylene doesn't go up to oxygen. Anyways, that's how you set it up. And also, I don't know if you saw in the background, I do have a fire extinguisher. I also have one in the back behind. You can't see it, but I know where it is. You just go in there and grab it. Just make sure you have this wherever you're at. You always want a fire, and also first aid kit. Just be cautious, safety, however it goes. And I will have a good one, and I will see you on the next few clips I do. Have a good one. GoPro, stop capturing.